The views expressed on this program are not those of IntellectualRadio.com, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Encouraging, educating, and empowering you into action. This is Warriors Talk with your host, Lady Rochelle.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Rochelle, where we move away from awareness towards action. It's Health and Wellness Monday, and our topic for today is psychological benefits of cancer support. We are live on Intellectual Radio. We just heard from the Drive at 5 with Roland. Keep it locked right here on Intellectual Radio and allow us to feed your brain. On the last episode of Warriors Talk, I discussed never let cancer define you. You can head over to YouTube and type in Intellectual Radio and stay connected for any episodes you may have missed. The quote of the day is, "There is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't." And that quote is by James Green. And we are grateful for our sponsor on today. Our pastor, Michael Richardson with the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ, has a special message for us.
Greetings, I am Pastor Michael Richardson.
And I am First Lady Anastasia Richardson from the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. We're located at 3058 West Van Buren in Chicago, Illinois. We are building upon a solid foundation.
We're inviting you to join us every Sunday morning on Facebook Live at Emmanuel Kojic at 10:15 Central Standard Time. And you can also view our videos on our YouTube channel at Emmanuel Kojic-MR. Once again, this is Pastor Michael Richardson
and First Lady Anastasia Richardson. And we're from the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. We are building upon a solid foundation.
If you are tuned in on any form of social media, please like the show, share the show, invite someone else in on the show that you feel that may benefit from this valuable information. My special guest today is a two-time breast cancer survivor, advocate, and caregiver who plays a pivotal role in several health-focused organizations. She contributes to the Illinois Cancer Partnership Prevention Work Group, the Breast Cancer Survivorship VLC, and Equal Hope's Community Health Advisory Board. As a former healthcare ministry director at Christ Universal Temple, she has shared her journey at cancer awareness events, radio shows, and religious study groups. She is also the founder of Cancer Support Group, non-for-profit organization that is dedicated to providing free cancer services such as wigs, care packages, and emotional support to under-resourced communities in Chicago. Welcome to Warriors Talk, who is not a stranger to Warriors Talk, Karen Hall. Hey, Karen.
Hi, Rochelle. How are you today?
I am good. Thank you so much for agreeing to be a guest and also for your patience. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the invite. You know, it's always nice to sit down and talk with you because I believe your platform is just so awesome. So I'm excited.
Thank you so much. I'm excited as well. Now, I know you're not a stranger to Warriors Talk, and some of our listeners have already heard your cancer journey. So I just want you to share a quick snippet of you being a two-time cancer survivor and how that experience has helped shape your decision to create the cancer support team.
Okay. So the first time I was diagnosed, it was only stage 0, and I had a mastectomy. And I attempted to go to a support group, right? You know, I need support. And I went into the support groups and I was like, I don't look like these people, right? Because I had not gone through the chemo and radiation and all of the other tyrant things. And so had started to be an advocate of cancer survivors. You know, people started calling me. And I say, hey, you know, life is wonderful. You know, I'm over it this first time. Life is great. Let's just move forward. Well, 8 years after my initial diagnosis, it came back again as an aggressive tumor. And at that time is when I had to go through the chemo, the radiation, the whole treatment plan. What I've learned the second time is that there was so many health disparities in our community, from healthcare, even just support. In order for me to get support, I had to go outside of my community to find support, just simply support through meetings. And because of that was one of the reasons that I said, why do, I want a support group with people that look like me, right? The people that understand me, the people that can come and talk to me, and I can say, I get it when you have to make the decision to pay your rent or go for a mammogram, right? So the support group meetings that I was attending, they didn't understand that concept. And so that was one of the major reasons why I decided, I want to be an advocate in our community about cancer. I want to empower our women and men in our community how important it is to be your own advocate, number one, and to also make sure that you continue with the screenings and your mammograms on a regular basis, irregardless if you have insurance or not. There is help out there.
There is with organizations like yours. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm just wondering, how has the cancer support team evolved over time since it has begun?
Wow. So it started with, okay, I'm just going to do support group meetings. Then it evolved and says, I remember when I went to go get a wig treatment, and the wigs that was available was nothing that we will wear, African American women will wear. And so the second leg is I designed the Crowning Star Wig program to provide free wigs for women going through cancer and even women with alopecia, because we realize sometimes after chemo, your hair does not grow back. And so that was that particular aspect. And then the third aspect was my care bags. It's always nice to know that somebody cares. And so just to get a little token from someone else really gives us the inspiration to kind of keep moving and keep pushing.
That's so true. I can remember being in treatment, Karen, and I don't remember anybody going around giving out any type of bags or anything like that. I just remember
Right,
just trying to figure out what to bring with me when I went to my first chemo. So I was just kind of like filling stuff
right.
out. And so I think it's important for people to receive those care packages because, like you said, it lets them know that somebody cares about them, somebody's thinking about them, and they're not alone in this journey.
Right. They're definitely not alone. It is a journey. It's a journey. It's not a sprint. And oftentimes we want to just get diagnosed and forget about it. And even after treatment, we are impacted with, we are cancer survivors for the rest of our lives. It doesn't stop once we're finished with treatment. Other things that I thought is significant is be your own advocate. I found out a lot of information, not from my treatment team, from other people that was going through cancer. So, as they say, closed mouths don't get fed, and so if you have a need, talk to people about it. What they're doing now is not only do they have the social workers that's part of your team, one of the elements that you mentioned this earlier about me, I'm part of a YAS group, and that's a virtual learning collaborative. And so I'm one of the co-facilitators. And what we do is we empower and provide additional knowledge to community navigators. So when someone calls you you have a lot more knowledge of what goes on in the medical aspect of the treatment so that you can help advocate, so that you can help find the correct resources for the individual. Sometimes we need to just be their voice,
I totally agree with
in
that.
order for them to move forward.
I totally agree with that. And I think it may have something to do with the doctors and the nurses. They only have
Yeah.
so much time and they have so many patients that they're dealing with that they really don't have time to sit down and hold our hands and take us
Yes.
through it. And so that's why it's important for these organizations to exist, because like you said, most of the stuff I learned from another survivor. And I would encourage anybody,
That's
if
right.
you're not connected with an organization or with a support group, find one that resonates with you, and stick with that group, volunteer with that group. And because you're gonna
Yes.
need you need it. You just can't do it alone. I mean, you can go on the internet and research all you want, but to have someone to identify with what you're going through, like you said at the beginning, you was in the group but you couldn't resonate with the people because you really hadn't been through the chemo, the radiation. So it was like, why am I here? But for individuals to go through the same
Right.
thing that you went through,
Right.
and now you're ahead of them, so you already know, okay, yeah, I dealt with that side effect. Oh yes, this happened, that happened, this is what you do. So they don't feel alone, and it can remove some of that fear that that's attached with it, and that's
Yeah.
all a part of
Yeah.
advocacy as well.
It is a lot of fear, um, and one of the things that I offer in my organization is, we do what we call it, put the tea and talk. If that's that one-on-one conversation that I have with the survivor on things that they don't want to talk to their family about. They don't want to talk to their families about, I'm scared, right? I might die. I'm scared what's going to happen to my husband or my children. Um, because your family only wants you to be back to the way that you were, whatever that position was, right? And so a lot of us are the matriarchs or the one that take care of everything, right? And so now that we need the support, one, we feel guilty. Now we got to ask people for help, which we shouldn't, but we do. And then number two, they just want us to be the same way we were before we got diagnosed. They don't want to hear about I'm scared and I'm hurting and this and that and the other, because they cannot fix it, right? And so that's what the cancer support team does, is we're there as that listening ear. We're there when you're scared, when you're crying, when you just need someone to just sit, listen, and pray with you. We're there, to help walk through that journey. We're also there to help guide you and give you resource information. Maybe you're having transportation issues, right? You can't get to your treatment. Helping you with situations like that. We have this organization that provides transportation. Maybe you can't afford your medication. Your copays are too high. There's organizations out there. One of the things that happened to me when I was diagnosed, because I was diagnosed, I was working in the corporate environment, and so I was not used to help per se, right? And so I was dealing with a lot of things, not even realizing that it was support out there for me that I was just simply unaware of. And to tell you a quick story, one day it was a group of us, like about 8 women. We were all going through treatment, but we were all at different stages of our treatment. And somehow we end up meeting up at the same time in the lunchroom one day. And I just happened to mention, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm losing my private insurance. I just don't know what I'm going to do. I'm still in treatment. And just another survivor. She was like, "Oh, girl, I tell you what you do. You go down to this office and you talk to this person." they have this program. And so I'm asking people, you need to talk up for yourself. It's a fight. So are you ready for the fight? Right? That means you open up your mouth, you ask for the resources you need, you ask for the support that you need. If someone gives you a medical diagnosis and try to explain something and you don't understand, you say, I don't understand. Can you repeat it? Can you say it a different way? Don't just allow people to treat you as a doorknob and you just digest whatever they say and do to you. You have got to fight.
I totally agree with that. Don't just go home and be like, oh, okay, I'm okay with that answer. And in the back of your mind, something is not right. So
Right.
I agree. Advocating for yourself is so important. If you don't speak up for yourself ever in life, going through a cancer diagnosis should make you want to speak up for yourself. So I totally agree. Impacts have you seen
That's right.
in the lives of survivors that you work with when it comes to the support team?
Well, what I've seen is, and Lady Michelle, we really don't know the impact that we have on individuals until they come back to us. And I've gotten calls that says, "Hey, I was at my lowest point, and I found your card, and I called you, and you really inspired me. You really gave me the push. And I don't stroke people. I'm very, very honest, with individuals. And so I've had several people come back and thank me or, for the wig or thank me for, the care bag or just thanking me. Hey, you was just kind to me and I just needed to talk to someone, and you were there. A couple of things that I do is, I'm brutally honest. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I'm going to tell you. I had, as example, I had one survivor. She had gotten her mastectomy, and I strongly recommended that she do her exercises, even though it's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. I said, but for the long run, you will be able to regain your full reach of your arms. She did not do it, and she cannot hold her arms all the way up. And now she has to adjust her life because of that. So just to be honest and don't sugarcoat it and tell them what they need to know, help them with the resources, help them, figure out, things other than just cancer, because life doesn't stop because you got diagnosed with cancer. Life continues on, right? If the husband is crazy, he's still crazy. If the kids is off the chain, they still off the chain. They just don't all of a sudden go back, and be nice, right? So those are things that you came into that diagnosis you're dealing with. And now on top of that, you have all these other decisions that you got to make. I also recommend to find someone that you trust. It can be a close friend, it can just be a family member, but find someone that you trust that you can be honest with them and they can help you as well. You don't have to wait until come to a support group. Make sure you have someone you can reach out to and say, hey, I'm not doing very well. Address the fact if you're going into a depression, or if you have some mental, issues that's going on. Make sure you address those things. Don't just say, oh well, this is part of, the diagnosis. I'm just going to have to deal with it. As said before, it's a fight. It's a fight every day. Almost it's a fight just to get up. So keep fighting.
So how would you say, Karen, addressing those psychological needs contributes to improving the patient's overall quality of life going through cancer?
So addressing those needs is one, don't ignore them. Acknowledge that they exist. That's number one. Number two, be proactive about it. But let's be proactive. If you are having, as mentioned, depression, acknowledge that you are depressed. Then it's time for you to move forward and get some assistance with that. Okay. If you know that your survival rate goes higher with you changing the way that you eat, then be your own advocate and do that. If you're overweight and they say, well, we won't do this particular procedure because you're overweight, what are you going to do about it? Do something about it. So the psychological is, you know, excuse me if people are not spiritual, but mine is you stay connected to your higher power, whatever that higher power is. Stay connected. Do your prayers, do your meditation, or whatever your practice is to stay connected. And that will make it a lot easier for you to deal with those negative thoughts that attempt to take over you.
Yeah. So my next question would have been, how do you help them reduce the feelings of isolation, or when it comes to the fear of, okay, what am I about to go through?
Okay. The one thing of to reduce the fear, I normally tell individuals, come up with a plan, right? Come up with a plan after your treatment. After my treatment, I'm going to go to New York, right? One of the things that I did was to mitigate the anxiety and the fear. I made a wig that kept my mind off the actual diagnosis, right? It kept me busy. I was doing something. So I was feeling like I was accomplishing something, right? That will help. So whatever it is, maybe you have something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, and now really you have time to do it, whatever that is. Maybe it's painting, maybe it's knitting, maybe it's writing a book. Whatever it is, you find something to keep your mind occupied so that you can move forward.
I like that. I totally agree with that. Don't just get stuck in, okay, I have this cancer diagnosis, and yeah, you do have to stay focused on treatment and follow everything that you need to do, but you still have a life outside of that. Cancer is, it's a chapter, it's not the whole book.
Yes,
So you want to focus on it, but you also want to make
that's
sure
it.
that you're not neglecting the kids, you're not neglecting the husband, you're not neglecting the things that you would normally do with them. Even if you don't have the energy to do it, you can still plan it, and when you're ready, like Karen said, then those things. Don't just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
lost
So one
in
thing
the
I wanted to
diagnosis.
add, go ahead,
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
So one of the things I want to add, there are tools out there to help us. So if you have a problem planning, because I know, when people call you, girl, whatever I can do, let me know, right? And then you hang up the phone, but you're so overwhelmed because you're making a decision every day. It's like, I don't want to have to make another decision, right? So you don't accept the support that's out there. There are applications out there. I think care, or I'll think of it, that allow you as the survivor to go online. You can put as much or as little about your diagnosis as you want, and then you can also put in there the type of support that you're looking for. Maybe you need someone to pick your child up on the day that you're in treatment. You can put that in there. Maybe after your treatment, you don't feel like cooking. And so you want somebody to, do some nail preps for you. That way you can take your time, decide what type of support you want, and it's out there for your friends and your family to assist you. you know. Reach out if you need a caregiver, get a caregiver, right? Allow and we funny about how people do our stuff in our house, right? You know. So, if the husband wants to wash the dishes and he don't wash them the way you wash them, okay, it's okay. you know, Allow him to help in any way that he can.
Yes, I totally agree with that. In addition, Karen, to direct support that your organization give, how do you or the organization actually advocate for greater awareness, like policy changes as it relates to cancer care?
So one of the things I do go to Springfield and advocate. There's other trips to Springfield, and I joined them in that to advocate, for support. One of the biggest advocating things that I'm doing is advocating for free mammograms. You know, there should not be an issue with an individual, right, to get a free mammogram, regardless of what your income status is and where you live. You know, that should be a given. Other things that I advocate for that my organization does is we do workshops. We do workshops, getting out the educational information. We go into the communities as a vendor and we set up and we talk to individuals and give them information about their mammograms, about just cancer in general. And so, CST, we want to expand. I know most people think we're just supporting breast cancer, we're supporting all cancer. It's just not for breast cancer. So those are some of the things that we do. We've given away free wigs. Now we have bras. So anything that we can do to support our women and to help them advocate for themselves, those are some of the things that we do.
I know I benefited from the wigs. I think I got about 2 or 3 wigs from you at the event. So, and
Yeah,
I think the one year I was there, they cut and styled the wig and everything. So, yes, nice
yeah,
quality wigs,
yeah.
you guys. I love them. Absolutely.
Yes, they are. And I don't know why, but just to get the word out about that, you know, um, that's one of the things why I'm on your platform is really just getting the word out about the free services. Everybody just assume, it's cost, and it's not a cost, it's free. Because I know for me, you know, the beauty is really inside of you, and the wigs is just to enhance what's already there. And so if you get a wig and you feel better about yourself, you feel empowered, you feel pretty, right? Then you're gonna dress better. Your mental attitude is gonna be better. Not that it's gonna cure anything, but it will help you emotionally feel better.
That's true. Sometimes it just takes you putting on some lipstick and drawing in your eyebrows, and you're like, oh, okay, I look and feel better
Right,
today. Throw
right,
on the wig and go. So,
right,
yes. Well,
right. I know one of the things I lost my eyebrows. And um, I lost my eyebrows. And so that's really kind of what made me start visiting these different support group meetings the second time. Because I thought I was the only one in the world that had lost my eyebrows, and they never did grow back after my treatment, right? But that was that made me feel like myself again, to learn how to draw my eyebrows back on, and that made me feel like a person. It made me feel sexy. Because sometimes the sexy leaves us, and so we got to do what we have to do in order to get this sexy back.
That's so true. You got to create your own sexy, your own reality of sexy. Whew, it could be a challenge sometimes, but you could do it. You could do it. Well, having faced
Yeah.
cancer twice, Karen,
Yeah.
what would be your advice to survivors who are dealing with a recurrence, and how can they find strength to fight again?
So you're right. The second time was harder than the first time because it was 8 years between the first and second. It was very difficult. I had to go get spiritual counseling because I didn't get it, right? I didn't get why it came back because I was initially diagnosed at stage 0. No chemo, no radiation, just a mastectomy. So I started with getting me spiritual counseling, and then I had to accept what are you going to do? What are you going to do about this? Are you going to sit down and feel defeat, or are you going to fight for your life? So you have to, and sometimes it's a struggle to make that decision, So once I decided that I was going to fight for my life, I became the biggest advocate there is. I started asking questions. I started writing down questions. I started writing down any side effects that I was having, any kind of physical ailment that I was having, I wrote it down. And I made sure that when I went to talk to my oncologist and my oncology team, that they were aware of everything that was going on with me. So if a person get diagnosed a second time, it's not that you've done something wrong, right? Because we always think, I didn't do something. It's not that you've done something wrong. It's time for you to put your big girl stuff on and keep moving forward and be your own advocate and eat right. Make sure you eat right. If we're a little obese, make sure we're eating the right vegetables and fruits. We have to keep not only our body, nourished. We have to keep our mind there as well. So stay positive, and read positive things. Take classes if you have to do. If it's something that you want to learn, keep yourself occupied. Give yourself the reason to fight.
I like that. Before we wrap up, Karen, I do want to talk about your event that's coming up so everybody will know where to get tickets. I know you say you had a few tickets left, so I want everybody to be able to experience
Yes.
this amazing event that you're having. So tell us a little bit about the 5th annual Pink Ribbon fundraiser.
Yeah, so every year I have a Pink Ribbon fundraiser, and the goal of the fundraiser really is to raise funds so that we can continue with our free services. And so this year we're having it at the Siberian Social Center from 5 to 10 o'clock, and we're going to have, cocktail hour with hors d'oeuvres. We're going to have a sit down family style dinner. We're going to have a wonderful DJ. The biggest thing that we're doing this year is I'm doing a survivor tribute. So in my program book, I have had survivors send me pictures, right? And so we're going to do this amazing little program with our survivors, because at the end of the day, the survivors are the ones that we are supporting, and we just want to honor them in our special way.
And how can individuals?
So to purchase tickets, you can, pardon me?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so to purchase tickets, we're still allowing people to purchase the $65 ticket, which is our, we call it our early special. But I kept it at 65, in order for people still to purchase the ticket. You can go to our website at www cancersupportteam.net. And on the main page, that's where you can click the icon and purchase ticket. If you so happen to want to further support our organization, you can purchase an $80 ticket, which will really help us make sure that we meet all of our financial obligations for this particular event. It's fun. It's always fun. It's a joy for us to come together as survivors, and we just have a really good time. We have a chance to dress up and commune with one another, share information, share stories. There are going to be a couple of resource tables there to give you more information about who we are and the type of support that we provide. And we just really excited and having a great time.
Awesome. Can you, Karen, give us some closing words of wisdom on the psychological benefits of cancer support?
One is know who you are. You have to know who you are in order to know where you're going. And if you are mentally struggling, okay, seek support. Seek support. Having a cancer diagnosis is not an easy thing. It's not easy. It will tear you down if you allow it to. So be your own advocate. Reach out for support if you need to. Stay positive as much as you can, and know that life goes beyond cancer. It's not a death sentence at all.
I like that. Thank you so much, Karen, for sharing your experience and your wisdom with us. You guys go and purchase your ticket. I want to see you at the event. Karen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lady Michelle. It's always a pleasure to see you. I'm so glad that you invited me again. I'm just excited about being here. I love talking to you because I think your platform is absolutely awesome. So thank you for the invite again.
You're welcome. You guys don't go anywhere. I want to highlight my sponsor, who is Gloria Dotson with Mary Kay, and she's catering to all of our beauty needs from head to toe. Don't forget, Warriors Talk is always looking for a guest. If you would like to share your journey, just make sure you let me know by emailing me ready, and you can come on and share your testimony on Monday. We're always looking for individuals to share their testimony. Warriors Talk is also celebrating our 8th annual Survivor Celebration, a Reflection Gala, coming up on October the 19th at the Crystal Sky Banquet Hall in McCook, Illinois, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Right now, the tickets are $60. You can sponsor a warrior so that they can attend the event for free. We are still looking for sponsors as well. So you can go to warriorstalk.org for that. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Pillow Talk with God right here on Intellectual Radio. I will leave you with these words of wisdom. Once you choose hope, anything else is possible. Join me next Monday right here at 6 p.m. on Intellectual Radio. As always, thank you for tuning in to Warriors Talk with author and founder Lady Rochelle, where we are changing lives one warrior at a time.
Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle. To find out more about Warriors Talk, follow at Warriors Talk, the number 1, on all social media outlets, and Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle on YouTube. Please join us next week and every Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on IntellectualRadio.com for Warriors Talk with Lady Rochelle, where we encourage, educate, and empower you into action.